What is going on, YouTube? So check it out. Sorry I haven't posted for a while. I know I'm slacking. I will try and get you guys some more content, but as you can see, we're on the lot. I am completely sold out right now. I have just one Avalanche for sale, and I got all these cars I gotta fix. So hopefully I can bring you guys some good content. I will try and post more videos, but let's get started on the video. So check it out. We sold this Volkswagen Rabbit here. I know I didn't do a video on it, but it was a pretty clean little car. I did put a transmission in it when I started working on it, and then other than that, the thing ran and drove good. So it was a good little car. I sold it to the guy about 4 or 5 days ago, and let me tell you, I was driving this thing everywhere. I was driving it back and forth to work here, driving it to take the kids to school and everything, and the thing drove perfect. Well, the guy calls me yesterday. He goes, hey, the thing's leaking coolant everywhere. So as you can see, he dropped it off here in the morning, and it is definitely leaking coolant. So we got it up in there running, and it looks like it might be leaking out of the radiator. We got a couple puddles here, but as you can see, let me get the light on here, it is definitely leaking out of the radiator. I don't know if you guys can tell very well, but there's a coolant leak back there. So today's video is going to be on replacing the radiator in this Volkswagen Rabbit. So let's go ahead and get started on that. I'm going to start by taking this front bumper cover off. I'm going to do this by the book. Some guys take off the intake and squeeze it out the back, but I just feel like doing it the right way this time, and we're going to go ahead and take the bumper off, take the core support off, rip the radiator out of there. So let's go ahead and get started on that, guys. Okay guys, so first things first, we got to get this front bumper off. I took all the torque spits that are along the bottom of this thing, so now you just got to take off the grill and also the torque spits that are inside the fender wells. So let's go ahead and get that done, and then we'll pop this bumper off. So you got 3 bolts on each side. There's 1, 2, 3 here, and then there's one that goes up and down on each fender well. And as you can see, the whole thing just kind of comes off. You also got a couple bolts here and some clips. So this one had the tab broken, so I just left the bolt in there. But the tricky part is you also have 2 little squares here. You can see it there. So to release this front bumper, you actually have to squeeze, put a screwdriver in there and push that little tab down. So you put it in there, push that tab down, and the whole bumper just comes off, just like that. So I'm just gonna unhook our turn signals, and then we'll keep on going with the core support. Okay, so as you can see, we got the headlights out. So they're pretty simple. You just stick your hand behind it, you unplug the connector, slide it off, right, and then you got 3 bolts on top, and you got 2, one down here and one that was right here somewhere. Actually, it was right here. So you got total of 5 bolts. Headlights come right out, so we went ahead and did that for both sides. So now we can go ahead and start unbolting the actual bumper. So we got, looks like maybe some 16 or 17 millimeter bolts, 4 of them on all the way around, and then you got 1 little torque spit, 1 on top and one on bottom on each side. So let's go ahead and start undoing that, and we'll keep on going. Okay guys, so we went ahead and got all 4 bolts off around each side on the bumper. And usually what I go ahead and do is I just go ahead and get a screwdriver and I stick it straight through one of these holes here. So just like that, you know, usually a pretty long one that goes all the way through, or a 1/4 inch extension will kind of fit as well. So I got one on this side and one on that side. Then all you got to do is go ahead and give your core support a little yank. There it goes. See, kind of get it to come out from underneath these headlight holders, and there you go. See, now you got about 6 or 7 inches of working room. You know, if you want to pull on it a little bit more once you get the radiator hose off, that gives you plenty of room to work here. So, and the reason I stick the screwdrivers in here is just so that the whole thing doesn't just fall down to the ground, because it will, because it's not supported anymore. So let's go ahead and undo these radiator lines. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the upper and lower, so that way it starts draining the coolant too, and then we can start working on these fans in here. So we got to go ahead and unbolt these fans. Usually they just have 4 little bolts all the way around and a big connector for the fans. So it looks like they're Torx bits as well. So we got 1 here, 1 there, and 2 on the other side. So let's get it started on that. Okay guys, so I got both the upper and lower radiator hose off. I don't know if you guys can see here, but it has this little clip. All you got to do is pull up on this little clip. Try not to fling it out. You just have to get it to unlock like that, and you wiggle it up and down and the hose should come off. So do that to both upper and lower. So now we're gonna go ahead and loosen up our bolts on the radiator fan and take that thing out of there. We also unplugged our radiator connector down on the bottom. Okay, so once you get your bolts out of the front here, there's going to be 2 on the front. You should be able to pull your radiator forward. So now it's sitting right here, right in the middle. So you also have your AC condensers attached to it. So it looks like it has 4 bolts that are going to be on the front of it. You're going to have to squeeze your hand in on that side over there. There's 2 Torx on this side as well. So you got 1 and 2. And then you also have 1 more that's actually going in over here through the side. And that's going to be this one here. So we're gonna go ahead and zip this one out. Looks like you can separate the core support a little bit from the radiator, so you can pull it forward, and that way you can get to this one here on the side, and then you should just be able to sneak your hand in behind the radiator so you can get these ones back here. These ones, 1, 2, and 3 and 4 on the other side. So that way you can separate your AC condenser, and then this radiator should just pull straight up. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll get right back to you. Alright, so we got the thing out. As you can see, the AC condenser just kind of stays in here. You can move it quite a bit. It has rubber lines on this side, so it has quite a bit of play in it. That's how we were able to get it to move forward and get the bolts off the back side. But there's our radiator. So this thing was leaking, looks like right here out of this corner. You can see it kind of had a bunch of coolant trails going down. It almost looks like the cover here is almost popped off as well. So I think it was just definitely leaking out of this corner, and you can see it was all the way soaked across the bottom. So unfortunately nobody has this thing in town. I had to order it for tomorrow, so we'll get back to this thing tomorrow morning. Okay, so it is the next day here. Check it out, we got our new radiator. So you always want to go ahead and compare your parts, and it looks like we're gonna go ahead and swap these things over. So we got our little mounts, we got to put them on those ends, and also there was this little piece here that goes on here. So let's go ahead and swap those little pieces over, then we're just gonna go ahead and slide that radiator in there. Okay guys, so there she is. She's running, she's all warmed up, she's bled, and it sounds like it's purring like a kitten, right? So no more leaks. The guy bought this thing about a week ago, and he brought it back 2 days after we sold it to him, and it was definitely leaking out the radiator. So we just went ahead and took care of it, guys. You know, sometimes it's better to have a good reputation than to make a little bit more profit on the car. So when things happen like that, especially if it's within the week, I usually fix the car. That's part of the business. Sometimes they break after you drive them. I literally drove this thing for 2 weeks. It did not have one problem up until the customer took it, but for some reason that just happens. But we got it fixed and she's good to go. Customer's probably gonna be happy, and hopefully he sends more customers my way. So you guys remember, stay up, hustle hard.